Will the House come to order? Mr. Clerk?
Aloha and good afternoon. Today's invocation will be delivered by Representative Sam Satoru Kong. Will the members who wish to participate please rise?
It's only Sam. Wow, a working mic. You in trouble now. But I would like to read to you a quote from Maya Angelou, a famous activist and poet. I've learned that people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did. But people will never forget how you made them feel. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you, Representative Kong. Item 1, roll call. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Ayu, Mr. Alcos, Ms. Amato, Ms. Bellotti, Mr. Chun, Ms. Cochran, Mr. Evslin, Mr. Ganadin, Mr. Garcia, Mr. Garrett, Mr. Gates, Mr. Hashem, Mr. Holt, Ms. Hussey Burdick, Ms. Ichiyama, Ms. Kahaloa, Ms. Capella, Mr. Kila, Ms. Kitagawa, Mr. Kobayashi, Mr. Kong, Ms. Lachika, Ms. Lamosao, Ms. Lowen, Ms. Martin, Ms. Martinez, Mr. Matayoshi, Ms. Matsumoto, Mr. Miyake, Ms. Mizuno, Ms. Morikawa, Ms. Nakamura, Mr. Nakashima,
Excuse.
Mr. Nishimoto, Mr. Onishi, Ms. Peruso, Mr. Pirik, Ms. Poepoe, Mr. Quinlan, Mr. Saiki, Mr. Sayama, Ms. Souza, Mr. Takayama, Ms. Takenouchi, Mr. Tam, Mr. Tarnas, Mr. Todd, Mr. Ward,
Excuse.
Mr. Woodson, Mr. Yamashita, Mr. Speaker.
Present.
Mr. Speaker, 49 members are present, 2 are excused.
Item 2, reading of the journal. Representative Markawa.
Mr. Speaker, may this matter be deferred.
So ordered. Item 3, Mr. Clerk, are there any messages from the governor?
Mr. Speaker, there are none.
Item 4, Mr. Clerk, are there any Senate communications?
Mr. Speaker, there are none.
Members, introductions. Representative Kobayashi.
Mr. Speaker, today we have in the gallery several people highly important to the project of our floor presentations. This project placed floatable rescue tubes in beaches on several islands. On this island, Stephen Morgan, would you please rise? Former president of the Waikiki Rotary Club, who donated the rescue tubes that were placed in East Honolulu all the way to Kailua. Thank you, Mr. Morgan.
Representative Tam.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In the gallery today, we have a constituent of mine that is part of this amazing project, Nathan Sirota. Will you please stand and welcome to your House of Representatives?
Representative Mato.
Thank you, Speaker. This morning I am pleased to recognize Joe McDermott, the chair of the Rescue Tube Committee of the Kihei Wailea Rotary Club, a member of my district. As a retired Maui Fire Battalion Chief, he works with 2 other Maui Rotary Clubs to maintain Maui's 180 installed rescue tubes. The Rescue Tube project is one of his club's main priorities. Since the first rescue tube was installed over 14 years ago, more than 200 rescue tubes have saved lives, likely preventing 30 drownings. Please stand, Mr. McDermott, Chief McDermott. Welcome to your House of Representatives.
Representative Cochran.
Thank you. And I can't see past that railing, but I'm also a fellow Rotarian. I know in West Maui, Lahaina, Rotary has also done the same, made the same efforts in saving lives on our beaches. So I'm sorry if I can't see you, but I just want to show appreciation and mahalo. Aloha.
Thank you. All right, members, with no further introductions, let's move on with the order of the day. Item 5, floor presentations. Mr. Clerk, are there any floor presentations?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, House Resolution Number 3, honoring Branch Lot Speech for providing critical life-saving services and commending his outstanding dedication to protecting swimmers across the world. This resolution is offered by Representatives Nakamura and others.
Representative Nakamura.
Mr. Speaker, I move to adopt the resolution.
Representative Morikawa.
Mr. Speaker, I second the motion.
It has been moved and seconded that the resolution be adopted. Any discussion? Representative Nakamura.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm in strong support of the resolution. The House of Representatives takes great pride in recognizing outstanding individuals and organizations who have contributed so much to our community, state, and country. Branch Lot Speech and the Rescue Tube Foundation act to protect residents and visitors from drownings by providing rescue tubes at beaches. The Rescue Tube Foundation's mission is to protect individuals by reducing the risk of drowning-related deaths on the beaches of Hawaii, the U.S. mainland, and internationally, especially those without lifeguards. Our honoree, Branch Lopspeech, is a founding member and acting executive director of the Rescue Tube Foundation that created public access rescue tubes. The rescue tubes have saved 200 lives and prevented an estimated 30 drownings. Impressively, all known rescues have been successful and no rescuer has been injured by using these rescue tubes. I'm very proud that the idea of rescue tubes was first pitched by Branch and John Gillen, who was president of the Rotary Club of Hanalei Bay when I was a member of the Kauai County Council. The first rescue tube was installed over 14 years ago on the island of Kauai. Through perseverance and proven life-saving results, the Rescue Tube Foundation has spread to neighbor islands, North Carolina, Florida, South Dakota, California, and internationally to Canada. There are over 600 rescue tube stations to improve water safety. Mr. Speaker, I yield to my colleague from Lihue for further discussion.
Thank you, Speaker and Majority Leader. Not only is Branch Lotspeech one of the executive directors of the Rescue Tube Foundation, he is admirably also directly involved in the assembly and creation of the rescue tube stations at the Foundation's shop in Kilauea. The rescue tubes are designed to be user-friendly. They are bright yellow and include picture descriptions on the device for a person who speaks any language to use it in case of an emergency. Even more, the rescue tubes are numbered so that first responders can coordinate exactly where the distress call is located. This feature is working in collaboration with Dr. Monty Downs of the Kauai Water Safety Task Force and IT Kauai to create a database of global positioning system locations of the rescue tubes. Mr. Speaker, I yield to my colleague from Waimea for further discussion.
Thank you, Speaker, and the representative from Lihue. I am in strong support of this resolution. In January of this year, after years of hard work and negotiations, the City and County of Honolulu, working with Eric Vick and the Hawaii Kai Lions Club and Rotary Club of Honolulu, installed 20 rescue tubes along 20 miles of Oahu's southern and windward shore. These stations range from Kawaikui Beach Park in Aina to Kailua Beach Park. This expansion has already reported to save at least one person. A 20-year-old man was in distress after jumping into the water at China Walls on Oahu. Fortunately, the rescue tubes were stationed at this spot, so the young man was saved with minor injuries. This is one of many instances where the rescue tubes have saved endangered swimmers. We encourage legislators to identify potential coastal dangers and consider working with community partners to install rescue tubes. With that, may I please ask Branch, along with his supportive wife, Melody, to please stand so you may be recognized. Congratulations to our honoree today, and here's to wishing him a happy belated birthday. Thank you, Branch Lot Speech and the Rescue 2 Foundation for your work in water safety. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Members, all those in favor say aye. The motion is carried. Representative Nakamura, please proceed with the certificate and lay presentation. The chair will call a recess to allow the members of the House to meet and congratulate the honorees. Recess. Will the House come to order? Item 6, reports of standing committees. Representative Nakamura.
Mr. Speaker, I move to adopt Standing Committee reports numbers 111-24 through 157-24 as listed on pages 1 through 13, and that the accompanying House bills as may be amended pass second reading and be referred to their designated committees.
Representative Morikawa.
Mr. Speaker, I second the motion.
Any discussion on STANCOM Report 111-24? Next page, 112-24. SCR 113-24. Representative Garcia.
Reservations.
So ordered. SCR 114-24. SCR 115-24. Next page. SCR 116-24. SCR 117-24. SCR 118-24. SCR 119-24. Next page. SCR 120-24. SCR 121-24. SCR 122-24. SCR 123-24. Next page. SCR 124-24. SCR 125-24. Representative Garcia.
No vote.
So ordered. Representative Pierrick.
No vote.
Proceed.
So this bill prohibits the sharing of personal information of clerks, election officials, and election workers for the purposes of intimidation, threats, harassment, or abuse. The intent of this bill is very good. However, I think it's aiming at the wrong issue at the moment. I think the goal should be to clean up the elections in Hawaii versus putting more protections on the election officials. If the election official is threatened, there's already a protocol.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Hold on, Representative Pierrick. Representative Quinlan.
We have exceptionally clean elections in Hawaii.
Thank you for your point of order. Representative Pierrick.
So I believe there's a current process. If the election official feels threatened, they can contact law enforcement to have protections given to them and reinforced. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, members. Let's Representative Pierrick, second time.
Thank you. Just a point of interest. The governor of New Hampshire, his cell phone number is of public information. My cell phone number is on the internet. So as far as creating protections for public servants, I think their information should be out there for everybody to contact them. And if you're involved in the elections, I don't think that it should be a sacred, secluded person doing that.
Thank you. All right, members, moving on to SCR 126-24. Representative Pierrick.
No vote.
So ordered. Proceed.
This bill would basically change things in the Hawaii Penal Code. If this is going to make punishments harder, I'm in favor of this, but because there's a movement in our state to decrease punishment, I don't think this bill is probably going to lead our state in the right direction.
Thank you. Representative Souza.
In strong support, Mr. Speaker.
Proceed.
This bill is meant to review the penal code and make a determination if there needs to be updates or changes to the penal code. So I'm not sure what the previous speaker was talking about. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Representative Garcia.
No vote.
So ordered. All right, members, moving on to SCR 127-24. Next page. SCR 128-24. SCR 129-24, Representative Garcia.
In opposition.
Proceed.
Gender should not be considered in the recruitment process. May the best person who's qualified regardless of their gender get the job. No vote.
Representative Pierrick.
In opposition.
Proceed.
The bill establishes as a goal of the state the increased representation of female law enforcement officers in the state by 2030. So if that would look like, increased pay for women, then there's a pay disparity. If they're not going to hire men because they haven't reached their female quota, it sounds like we're excluding males from being police officers. As the former representative mentioned, if somebody wants to be a police officer, let's let them be a police officer. The best candidates should be hired. Gender shouldn't be the main factor in law enforcement.
Representative Ganadin.
In support, Mr. Speaker.
Proceed.
I'm not sure what the previous speaker was referencing, but this bill supports police officers' current recruitment strategies. There's a nationwide shortage of police and law enforcement. After testimony before your Judiciary Committee, we believe are approximately 500 total statewide openings, including around 68 with the Department of Law Enforcement, just created 2 years ago, as well as 400 in county police. Recruitment is necessary to fulfill the needs of public safety. It is also the intent of all who testified to support female recruitment. We have seen when we get female officers, less incidences of officer-involved violence, better reaction to de-escalation techniques, and better work environments. It's one of the last places in the American workplace that hasn't been fully integrated. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Members, let's move on to SCR 130-24. SCR 131-24. Next page. SCR 132-24. SCR 133-24. Representative Garcia.
No vote.
So ordered. Representative Souza.
No vote.
So ordered. Representative Perrick.
In opposition?
Proceed.
This bill appropriates funds to the Department of Law Enforcement for the state's gun buyback program. I don't think we should be taxing people to create funds in a state budget to then buy people's firearms. If people want to sell their firearms, they should choose to sell it, maybe on a legal market and not have to burden the state with purchasing those guns.
Thank you. Representative Kong.
With reservations.
So ordered. Representative Ganadin.
Mr. Speaker, in support.
Proceed.
Through testimony before the Judiciary Committee, we learned that in one single buyback that happened here on Oahu, approximately 500 firearms were submitted. Dozens of them were illegal, including ghost guns, several that have been fitted with silencers, sawed-off shotguns, and Uzi. These are the kinds of things that we want to keep off the streets. We are not violating anyone's Second Amendment rights. We are offering them actually pennies to the dollar for what they could get probably on the black market, illegally, or in some other place. This is a public safety measure. Thank you.
Thank you. Members, we're moving on to SCR 134-24. SCR 135-24. Next page. SCR 136-24. SCR 137-24. Representative Garcia.
No vote.
So ordered. Moving to SCR 138-24. SCR 139. Representative Capella.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On SCR 138.
Proceed.
No vote.
So ordered. Moving on to SCR 139. Representative Peruso.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On SCR 139-24, oh, you moved on already. 138?
No, 138.
Okay.
Proceed.
No vote.
So ordered. Representative Martin.
Thank you. For HB 2473 relating to conservation mitigation program, I just wanted to, in support, I wanted to clarify, maybe there are some misunderstanding among my colleagues about what this is. All this is when there is a project like an airfield or a windmill or something like that, they are required by law, if they are going to have an impact on wildlife, to compensate by doing a project somewhere else. And at the moment, they often set up their own individual new projects. This would allow the DLNR instead to use that funding to support their ongoing projects so that they know that A, the project works, it will have the intended beneficial environmental outcome for the threatened species, and B, it's something that will be ongoing, that can be maintained beyond the time of the project. Thank you.
Thank you. Members, with no further comments, let's move on to SCR 139-24. Next page. SCR 140-24, Representative Hussey Burdick.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm rising for 139-24.
Let's finish 140 members. All right, with no comments and SCR 140, let's move on to SCR 139-24. Representative Hussey Burdick.
Reservations, brief comment.
So ordered, proceed.
I know it's only second reading, but I've had dear friends die on hiking trails, and many other people that I know have gotten stuck for hours and didn't call because they thought they were going to be charged more than they could afford for their life. I understand that this bill limits the fees to only people hiking on illegal trails, but I don't think that any life is less valuable for making that questionable choice. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. All right, members, no further comments. Let's move on to SCR 141-24, SCR 142-24, SCR 143-24. Next page. SCR 144-24, SCR 145-24. Representative Capella.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. No vote.
So ordered. Representative Peruso.
With reservations.
So ordered. All right, members, let's move on to SCR 146-24, SCR 147-24. Representative Garcia.
No vote.
So ordered. Representative Alcos.
No vote.
So ordered. Representative Matsumoto.
With reservations.
So ordered. All right, members, moving on to the next page. SCR 148-24. Representative Perrick.
In support.
Proceed.
This bill extends the state's energy efficiency portfolio standards from 2030 to 2045. So I understand that we shut down a coal plant on the west side of Oahu in efforts towards making renewable energy our state a source of energy. But when we look at shutting down our sources of energy, and then we're now changing our dates or our targets for when we have these state efficiency portfolio standards achieved, we have to look at the rolling blackouts as our status reports. Rolling blackouts aren't determinants of success. I think they're determinants of failure. And so I believe our body has failed to best regulate how we have energy in our state. If we're having rolling blackouts, we're not achieving our goal of providing our residents with electricity. And so I thank the body for introducing this measure to extend those energy efficiency dates.
Thank you. Representative Lowen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just to clarify, the energy efficiency portfolio standards in support.
Thank you.
Are pretty unrelated to either rolling blackouts or coal plant closure, the two of which are also not related to each other. So just clarifying that. Thank you.
Thank you. Members, let's move on to SCR 149-24. SCR 150-24. Representative Garcia.
No vote.
So ordered. Let's move on to the next page. SCR 151-24. SCR 152-24. Representative Garcia.
In opposition.
Proceed.
Mr. Speaker, on page 12, lines 19 through 21 of this bill says, to ensure access for all menstruating people, if a covered public building has no gender-neutral restroom, the department shall provide free menstrual products in at least one men's restroom in that covered building, a public building, and place signage in the remaining men's restrooms. I just don't believe that menstrual products should be in men's restrooms. It's a waste of taxpayer dollars, and they will be destroyed. No vote.
Representative Bellotti.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In support.
Proceed.
First, Mr. Speaker, this is a bill that has 2 more committees to go through, so it is a work in progress. And secondly, as I think many ladies in this house and maybe many ladies outside in the community understand, you could be out and about in the community and an accident comes and happens, and that you might be asking your partner to go get you something, to go get you a product. That has happened to me, in fact. And so I think we need to continue this conversation, and this is a work in progress. In support.
Thank you. Representative Capella.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Can I adopt the words of the Chair of Health
So ordered.
into the journal as if they were my own. And then I also want to clarify that this bill doesn't only put them in to men's restrooms. It's putting them in only if there is not a gender-neutral bathroom anywhere on the premises, which many cases across our state, we've actually moved towards gender-neutral bathrooms. Thank you.
Thank you. Representative Lamasao.
Thank you, Speaker. In strong support, I'd like to adopt the words of the representative from Waikiki, and also may I enter some comments in the journal.
So ordered.
Thank you.
Representative Amato.
Thank you, Speaker. I would like to adopt the words of the representative from Makiki into the journal.
So ordered.
Thank you.
Representative Alcos.
No vote.
So ordered. Representative Martin.
In support, and I just want to express my gratitude for the younger members of this group that have seen something is possible that my generation didn't even think of, a benefit for women. Thank you.
Thank you. Representative Matsumoto.
With reservations.
So ordered. Representative Perrick.
In opposition.
Proceed.
So as previously discussed, this bill would put menstrual products in men's restrooms if a unisex bathroom isn't available. I don't think our state needs to be striving towards unisex bathrooms. So with that premise not being highly recognized, the goal of then putting menstrual products in men's restrooms, I don't think is a good idea. So I'm going to vote no.
Representative Souza.
In support, Mr. Speaker.
So,
I think that everyone needs to remember that this bill is about accessibility, and that's pretty much the premise of what's going on here. So thank you.
Thank you. Members, Representative Quinlan.
With great regret, Mr. Speaker, a no vote.
So ordered. Representative Gates.
No vote.
So ordered. Representative Takanouchi.
In support, Mr. Speaker, I may adopt the words of the Chair of Health and Homelessness as if they were my own.
So ordered. Representative Holt.
With reservations.
So ordered. Representative Kaloa.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In support, I would also like to adopt the words of the Chair of the Health Committee. Thank you.
So ordered. Representative Peruso.
In strong support,
Proceed.
I'd like to adopt the words of the Chair of Human Services as if they were my own.
Thank you. Representative Ganadin.
In support, Mr. Speaker.
Proceed.
I just wanted to be the only male standing in support here. I'm just surprised by the fragile masculinity in this body. It's really not that big of a deal. If you got to go in and pick up a tampon in a men's restroom and hand it to somebody else, really not hurting anybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Representative Tam.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In support, I just want to ensure that he's not the only one that stands up as a male to talk about this bill. Again, this bill is about access. I don't see any problem about providing it in a men's restroom. If I am walking with someone and they go into a women's restroom and they said that they're out of products there, I can easily go into a men's restroom to grab one for them, and I think that's a great idea. Thank you so much.
Representative Garcia.
Still in opposition, Mr. Speaker. Maybe if the body would amend this in its next committee to include free shavers and a shaving cream for men, perhaps condoms, etc. This is ridiculous.
Mr. Speaker,
No vote.
point of order. That is not relevant to this bill.
Thank you for your point of order.
It's a recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Garcia. All right, members. Representative Tam, second time.
Thank you. Still in support, I just want to clarify that men shaving their beards is very different than menstruating. So there's no comparison. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, members. With no further comments, we're going to move on to SCR 153-24. SCR 154-24. Next page, SCR 155-24. SCR 156-24. And finally, SCR 157-24. Representative Amato.
Thank you, Speaker. With reservations and a brief comment.
Proceed.
Automated enforcement systems potentially violate the 6th and 14th Amendment of the Constitution and Article 1, Section 14 of the Hawaii State Constitution, specifically the right to confront your accuser. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, members, we will be taking a voice vote. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The motion is carried. Item 7, introductions of resolutions. Mr. Clerk, are there any resolutions for action?
Mr. Speaker, there are no resolutions for action. May all others be referred to print.
So ordered. Item 8, members, are there any announcements? Representative Kaloa.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just another wonderful, friendly reminder on behalf of our chair of the Agriculture and Food Systems Committee that Ag Day is tomorrow. So please join us, and we're just grateful for the Hawaii Farm Bureau for helping host and bring Ag Day to the Capitol. Mahalo.
Thank you. With no further announcements, the chair would like to remind members of today's triple referral filing deadline. For any bills moving from their first committees to their second committees in a triple referral, you must file the committee reports with the Chief Clerk's office by 6 p.m. this evening. Again, that's 6 p.m. this evening. Please allow yourselves and your staff sufficient time to file your reports before the deadline. Representative Morikawa for adjourn.
Mr. Speaker, I move that this House stand adjourned until 12 o'clock noon tomorrow.
Representative Garcia.
Mr. Speaker, I second the motion.
All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say no. The motion is carried. The House stands adjourned until 12 noon tomorrow.